Welcome to Archrivals Football. Here is your starting lineup. Number 20, Darnell the Playmaker Sallins. Number 94, Alex the Bearman Kazzaz. Number 24, Ricky Litwinkowich. This show is sponsored by Raz Energy, DreamControllers.com, and Steiner Sports. Archrivals Football is a Pain Train Pipe Bomb production. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Archrivals Football Season 3. The panel loaded today, even though Darnell's hiding behind that huge-ass pop filter that he's got on his microphone.
Hey, you don't even start today, all right? You are ready. You tried me yesterday. You trying to keep it going. You better watch it.
Listen, I am good to go today. I can actually throw some fuel on the fire, because even though we have Bearman here and we have Darnell here, we actually have a fireman on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's now not only a Facebook felon, but a Instagram felon himself. Mr. Jermol Edwards, what's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Jamal? Hey, that's because you got Jamal on, so doesn't mean you safe.
Fine.
Listen, I have a brother in arms now because,
you still ain't safe from me.
well, nobody is safe from us, period. And I'm going to say this, okay? Everybody said everything about that.
No, Mark, your Giants is just choking. That's what they doing.
Well, we're going to get to them in a few minutes, okay? Because legitimately minutes before this show went on the air today, I get the message, Archrivals is trending all over Facebook, all over Instagram. So just know that if you somehow miraculously missed this show, we are on the uptick, and you guys will get brand new stuff, brand new material every time we're out, brand new graphics. You know it. We're going to bring it. So just to know the fact that I got that message about the trending thing, I'm happy as a pig in shit. That's all I have to say about that.
And Mark, I'm just going to let you know the refs did not screw over the Giants. Jason Garrett screwed over the Giants, just for the record.
Thank you, Jermol, because you won't believe how many times I've said it, because, I've suffered from this as a Cowboy fan. Jason Garrett is too controversial. I mean, he's lost cause, right?
Jason Garrett, in the world of iPads and technology in the refrigerators, he's still using a flip phone. That's who Jason Garrett is when it comes to offensive play calling. His play calling is so 90s. That's why they're losing. Daniel Jones, I'm not making the case that Daniel Jones is one of the top 5 to 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. What I'm telling you is you can win football games with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is what Kirk Cousins is supposed to be. And he's more athletic. He can throw the deep ball. He's a lot better, and he's not being utilized because Jason Garrett is stuck in the 90s somehow.
Yeah, he's old school. I've said that so many times on my show, but unfortunately, Cowboys Nation thinks I'm an idiot for saying that, but it is what it is. If you disagree with me, fine, but I do the research, y'all believe me.
Listen, from what I saw from the Giants game on Thursday night, now I didn't get to see the first half, obviously, because we had Pipe Bomb on, and I was miraculously trying to do 3 things at once. But from what I saw in the second half of that game, the Giants killed themselves. I cannot put it on Jason Garrett for them having a touchdown on a blown coverage. Mm-hmm. Receiver played hot potato with the ball. Okay? The last drive, the defense shot themselves in the foot. It's almost like saying Ron Rivera comes out to them and goes, guess what? I'm giving this loaded shotgun to you, and I want you to just Kurt Cobain yourself and commit suicide. I'm not even joking when I say this. 3rd and 7, a holding penalty, automatic first down. They had an offsides penalty. That gave Washington more yardage. The field goal try. I don't want to hear anybody say they blew that call, because that defender was in the neutral zone before the ball was snapped. That is a cardinal no-no. I don't care how much you're trying to block a kick. You got to fucking stay on sides.
Now, here's the thing about that. So, no, there's the play call for that is called no-brainer freeze, right? Because it's a no-brainer that they're trying to draw you off sides, whether it's a field goal or a 4th and inches situation. And yet, so the defense says no-brainer freeze, offense and defensive line. Don't move. They're trying to draw you. Don't do anything. What got me about that is that the guy wasn't even in the right position to block the football. What are you doing moving? Why are you moving? You have no chance of blocking the kick. So I don't know. It was just everything about that was bad. But Daniel Jones had like a 40-yard run that was negated because the wide receiver doesn't know how to not hold. Like holding, I don't understand how people still do it. It's the refs are going to find you're the only one there. These receivers, you have to do a better job. Just hit them. Just hit the guy or just stand in the way like a normal person. But yeah, Giants, they screwed themselves. And the senator, Taylor Heineke, the legend is continuing to be born. 93 completions in his first 3 starts, which is an NFL record. And so shout out to Taylor Heineke because I believe in the senator. And I'm nicknaming him the senator before he gets really popular. That way I can say I was the first one on the train.
Again, to me, I even watched the replay. And shout out to NFL.com for actually putting out some decent replays this year. But they put out every blown call, every fumble or bumble or stumble or whatever you want to call it for the New York Giants on Thursday night. But there was only 1 turnover in the game, and that didn't happen until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, though, to me, I thought it was a good game until the last drive.
100%, yeah.
I mean, it was a good game all the way through, but again, like, how many times are you going to shoot yourself in the foot before you actually just kill yourself off? Or you end up cutting off a limb or something? Like, that's just a bad spot for them. And now the Giants are 0-2. The Washington football team is 1-1. Obviously, final score was 1.30-29. Washington only could go up from this point.
100%.
They can only go north from this point, and they do have a lot of potential on that team. They really do. It's just again, it's like how many times are we going to see the gambles from Ron Rivera throughout the season? So I think that's just going to be more the critical point.
Washington defense is still respectable, but all the yards they've allowed the last 2 games, if that continues, that defense is going to start being question, but they're still sacking the quarterback. So Washington's defense, even though they're allowing a lot of yards, they're still in good shape.
They're one of the best defenses in the league. This first game it's technically the 4th preseason game. It's going to take 4 or 5 games for teams to really get a swing of things. If Taylor Heineke plays like this, the way he played against the Bucs off the street in last year's playoff game, and it looks like he's continuing that with this game against the Giants, Washington can absolutely win this division. Like easily, because they have the Washington has the best defense in the division, and I'll always give the edge to the team with the best defense. If Taylor Heineke can just be this, whatever this version of him is, he doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to be awesome. He has to inspire the guys. I don't think a lot of the Giants players trust Daniel Jones. I'm not sure how the Eagles players. It seems like Jalen Hurts has that, but I don't think Eagles defense is any good. And then the Cowboys. I don't know how they feel about Dak, but I mean that team's problems are well beyond roster.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Starts with the owner.
Yeah.
All right, so there was news that came out again just before we went on the air, and it just so happens to be with a fine. And part of my job on Sundays is to watch all of these games, so I got to see this kind of up front and personal when it happened. And it just so happens to be the Cleveland-Kansas City game. Ronnie Harrison got fined $12,000 for the incident with the Chiefs coach. And
oh my God.
Here's the deal with this, because I thought this was kind of a little peculiar. And no matter how the footage was shown, the Chiefs coach initiated the whole thing by pushing the player. And to me, you know what? If you have a coach pushing a player, the player really should be able to defend themselves. Unfortunately, at this point, it got put on the player, and then he got ejected from the game. So let's talk about a little bit about that.
You just said it. I mean, that's all there needs to be said. The Chiefs coach initiated it. Now, I wouldn't be as upset with the $12,000 fine because I don't think a player should be touching a coach or a ref or anybody else. However, the Chiefs coach also needs to be fined. And if that didn't happen, then I don't know why the player is getting fined, because if that Chiefs coach didn't touch him, this wouldn't have happened. So I'm not totally understanding the ruling. I wish they would explain why the Chiefs coach didn't end up getting some type of punishment either. So
right on, right there, Jermol, right on. The fact that it seems like the player is being punished when he didn't start it, but the coach is not getting anything. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So if the NFL is not investigating this thing any further or deep, then what the hell, man? Like you said, the coach started it, okay? Now, and Jamal, you're right. Yeah, no player should ever put his hands on a coach or an official. But, you know, I was mentioned, like, if somebody puts their hands on you, then, of course, you're going to fight back. I mean, some guys live like that. Like, you know, you attack me, of course I'm going to get you back. But
well, it also does go to say in the article here that the Browns center, J.C. Tretter, who's also on the NFL Players Association, thought Lewis's actions also did warrant the punishment, although the NFL didn't come down on him yet.
Okay, so then why are you handing out fines if your investigation isn't over, right? Mm-hmm. What you're telling me is, okay, we're looking at the Chiefs coach, but we're not totally there yet deciding, you know, what happened or what's the delegation. But you're quick to jump on the player that reacted. And I do get the old hockey, you know, it's not the first guy who throws the punch that gets in trouble, it's the second guy. But the coach clearly initiated the contact. Like, it's a little bit different here. And it's they're going to make it seem like this player just ran on the sideline and attacked this coach. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. Okay, both of them get fined $12,000 and just be done with it. This would have been a non-story.
See, the way you just explained it, it seems like the NFL is twisting the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in journalism terms, in my case, when a story is twisted, it's not told properly, that's fucked up. Sorry for the language, but that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So in other news, the New Orleans Saints, who have been currently ejected from the Dome down in Louisiana, will probably not be returning home until week 4 on the NFL schedule. So that if they do have any home games, they will be alternated somewhere else. For example, maybe like a Jacksonville or a Carolina, which is in somewhat of a proximity to Louisiana. And, I mean, apparently this is almost like, 5 weeks now from the hurricane that they have been kind of homeless.
I mean, yeah, but it's same to the people that live down there. Like, this is kind of what you pay for. You know what I mean? When you live in an area that is susceptible to natural disasters, i.e. hurricanes in this situation, this is kind of just the price of admission when it comes to that. It's unfortunate. I am surprised that New Orleans and teams that are affected, like Florida, don't have a secondary practice site that they lease out in another state. You know what I mean? Like, some teams with minor league teams aren't in the same state. Like they go to like neighboring states or somewhere else that they can go travel to. I'm shocked. And what would be dope if the NFL or any of the major league sports would come up with a like a singular place that they can hold events, and they rent it out the rest of the year, but just for this. Like, okay, we're going to go to, somewhere in Montana. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a stadium that just happens to be out there that everybody can travel to, far from hurricanes and water and flooding and all that other stuff that, anybody could use. Like, I think that would be a pretty dope idea, instead of just scrambling to find somebody to borrow a stadium from. But
then even then, though, like, obviously I can't even put a number on how many college stadiums there are. And especially, I could understand maybe if it's not in the state of Louisiana, That may be all fine and good. But let's say you could use a college stadium on an NFL Sunday, even if you have another team in that particular vicinity. For example, I'm pretty sure there's probably maybe 5 or 6 college stadiums that maybe the Saints could go to, even when a Jacksonville is home, that could still support at least a 50,000 fan stadium fill. I think that probably would be the best bet.
Right.
You know, like it's one of those things. But again, we're also looking at a commissioner who probably can't figure out whether he's got his underwear on correctly, let alone fucking try to have his own setup of alternative sites for teams to play at places.
Hey, look, I'm a big Roger Goodell fan, man. He changed the game of football. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Raj. I'm first name basis. I know me and Roger Goodell, odd combo, but I like Roger Goodell. I think he's better than Rob Manfred. I'll tell you that.
By a long shot, he's definitely better than Manfred, but you know.
As far as the Saints go, actually, gentlemen, I'm looking here about 55 minutes ago. ESPN reported that the Saints have lost 2 more assistants for the game against the Panthers amid COVID-19 protocols.
We're not allowed to say the C word. No C word.
I'm sorry, the worldwide bastard.
There you go. Yeah, there we go. We're corrected it now. I'll have to bleep out the C word.
I'd say that's a quarter in the jar for you, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing that.
Yeah. I'm so sick of hearing about that, man. It's like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, for what? To appease the big money guys, you know, your sponsors or whoever. It's like, it's sad because we've seen it with Dan Snyder and their Washington racial slurs. You know, FedEx came in and said, hey, you have to change the name. And Dan Snyder said, hell no, I'm not doing that. And then all of a sudden the money starts going away. All right, we're pulling this sponsorship. We're taking money away from this. And now here you go. Next year, Washington Red Wolves are coming next year, or Washington, whatever they're going to be called. And it's the same thing with this the worldwide bastard thing. It's like, hey, we have to send these guys away now. But for what? You know, we got the vaccinations, we got this, we got that. You know, just and the fact that they're not allowed to have any contact, it's prolonging. It's nonsensical to me. It's just like, all right, man, like we have to start normalizing this thing and stop making it a big deal, or else it's never going to go away, or things are not going to return to quote unquote normal.
Well, I definitely want to highlight this comment because we have a whole bunch of people in our chat, and we thank you for showing up. If it weren't for you guys, that we would be trending right now. Like it would be pretty much a crapshoot, but John Mizak says the loss of assistants isn't the biggest worry for him, to be honest. And you know what? There is so many staff members on an NFL team that could pick up the slack that are probably going to be some type of a better offensive or defensive coach at some point. They know all that. They know what's going on. Let's be honest. And if you're going to put somebody in a box up in the freaking top of the stadium, then do that. If you don't want these guys around your players, then, you know, put them in a freaking skybox or some shit.
But slow down on that. The assistants don't matter. One, we don't know which assistants there are. And, I mean, I could give you a couple names. Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Andy Reid, Sean McDermott, all started as assistants, right? Like, I just don't just blatantly discount assistant coaches, especially if we don't know who they are and what they actually do for the team. One of them could be the next great, you know, coach for the next decade. So I wouldn't dismiss the assistant coach not being their thing.
I mean, but the great thing about a lot of the team staffs is like if you have staff meetings, like for example, special teams has their own meetings, linebackers have their own meetings, corners have their own meetings. Like it's broken down so much that there's just not one coach in that room. There's like 3 or 4, like one's a main one and there's like a subsidiary coach or something like that. And I can guaranteedly tell you, even though they're not physically at the game, I guarantee you, by some hook or crook, they're sitting in a hotel room somewhere and they're Skyping in or they're Zooming in and say, hey, like these are the 100%. Plays that we really want to do. And they're communicating even though they can't be at the game. Like the NFL does allow to do that. It's just that they have a different feed from like what we see.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like a 10 or a 6. I think it's either a 7 or 15-second delay from what we see to the actual stadium itself.
Medina Antonio, yeah. My bet is that they will be the Washington Red Wolves next year. The red wolf is an indigenous extinct animal that has been linked native to the DC area. So I think the Red Wolves is probably where we're going to end up.
And one of the ones barring the copyright from, I think it's about 12 different teams, they actually were looking at Wolfpack as well. So
Okay.
to be continued.
We'll see next year. We'll find out at the end of the year. I'm pretty sure they know. The last thing I heard is that they are down to 3 names. And I mean, they have to choose a name because they were actually thinking about keeping football team, except I don't know the actual organization. I don't know who determines that, but they couldn't copyright the word football team because it's too generic. So now they're being forced to pick a name. They're like, all right, enough of this football team shit. You know, it's too generic. You can't keep it. Pick a name. And I think that guy's copyright, the DC, I think he's an accountant or a real estate guy or whatever he is. I think those end at the end of this, or they've already ended. And Washington had gone around and snagged up the ones that they like. And apparently they've whittled it down to 3.
Well, it's funny, though, because they really technically don't have an official logo either, which is, again, one of those weird things. And with this, the difference from this year to last year, I believe, is last year they had WFT on their helmets. This year they're in the college style with just the jersey numbers on the sides of the helmets.
Well, no, they didn't. They didn't have anything on the helmets the first year when they took the racial slur logo off. It was a blank red helmet with the yellow striping. Then the next year they put the numbers on there.
As far as the word for the name Red Wolves, I always say a sports team should be named based on the environment and the history of that certain city. I don't know why. It's merely my opinion, but that's just how I feel. So based on what you say about Red Wolves, it makes sense. It
makes perfect sense. I know Red Tails was popular because they wanted them to go with like the Tuskegee Airmen type deal. That'll never happen just for obvious reasons. But also Dan Snyder and company are really big on keeping the team with an R. Because they have copyrighted the, I guess, a popular hashtag in the DC area is hashtag HTTR, which was hail the racial slurs. I'm never going to say that word because it's a racial slur, but you know what it is. Their previous team name. And so they kind of wanted to keep the team, whatever it was going to be called, it has to start with an R. So we will see.
Okay, so let's get to some football. The news is fun, but the games are even more fun.
Yes, let's.
Okay, so the newer upgraded graphics begin. New York Jets travel to the Razor in I believe I have this backwards. The Jets are hosting the New England Patriots this Sunday.
Yep.
The line for the game is -6 under over 43. The news is not good for the New England Patriots as of currently right now. And here comes the fun parts. Trent Brown is out for this game. Yesterday, they announced that Kyle Van Noy out for the game. 2 critical parts of the team. Yeah, this does not look very well for the Patriots. But they are pretty much playing a young Jets team that's got their injuries of their own.
And so in that case, it's the question of who you like better, Mac Jones or Zach Wilson?
Mac Jones. And that's why I'm still picking the Patriots. It don't matter. Did you watch the Jets play last week? Give me one thing.
Zach Wilson came alive in the second half. Now,
listen, man. Give me one thing that is like you look at the Jets and we're like, oh yeah, that team's going to be okay. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
What does Jet stand for again, Ricky?
Just end the season.
Yeah, JET. Yeah.
That's how you feeling right now? That's end the season for the Jets right now.
Listen, I'm just going to kind of say it this way, and shout out to that critical Broncos fan who's joining us for the first time. Welcome to the show. Listen, the Jets are in probably, again, like the umpteenth year of rebuilding. Obviously, the Sam Darnold thing didn't work. You went out.
Who beat them last week?
Yeah, Sam Darnold, who actually reunited with his buddy Robbie, and they had a great game. And the defense kind of carried that game for Carolina as well. Let's not
but we
not present
knew
this
that.
either.
That was Matt Rule's his first year he got there. He rebuilt that defense and told us we are going to be a defensive team. I knew this was going to work for Sam Darnold because he's a deep ball thrower. The Jets did not have anybody that could run a deep route except Robbie Anderson. They got rid of him for whatever reason. I knew it was going to work. The Panthers are going to be okay, man. Don't sleep on them. But yeah.
And once a lot of these teams are going to get there's some of these guys that got injured in the preseason, they come off the PUP list. You're going to see teams get a lot stronger, and a lot of guys can't come back till week 4, week 6. So you're going to have your learning curve and your bumps and bruises till these guys get back. But in significant rights, though, Patriots are going to be down quite a few players. A lot of guys are listed as questionable. Trent Brown out. Quinn Nordine, kicker, out. They're obviously signing Nick Folk to take that spot. Jonnu Smith, questionable. Yadani Kuje, questionable. I mean, the laundry list for guys on the injury list is more significant for the Pats than it is for the Jets. But you're also looking at a touchdown difference and teams possibly only scoring 43 points.
Gentlemen, let me ask you a simple question.
All right.
Which team has the better quarterback?
Obviously, I believe Mac Jones.
Okay. Which team has the better coach?
The Patriots.
Which team has the
That's an unfair question.
Which team has the better defense?
Jamal, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to be honest with you.
I knew it.
That is the flip of a coin. And here's
Oh,
why.
yes.
I don't think so.
Here's why.
I don't think so.
Here's why. Miami ran the ball all over a rebuilt, restocked New England Patriots defense. That's the difference. They did great against the pass. They did not do well against the rush last week versus Miami.
What did the Jets do to the Panthers? Nothing.
They threw the ball.
Okay. And Darnell, your comment about Zach Wilson lighting it up in the second half. Do you know what the score was in the second half for that game? It doesn't matter. They let him light it up. They didn't care. Just, hey, keep the, teams losing. And then this is why people think Matt Ryan is good. This is why people think Phillip Rivers is good, because they collect all these second half garbage time stats because team defenses don't care. They lay off. They're hitting a bunch of underneath routes. They get lucky with a deep throw. And all of a sudden, Matt Ryan is in the Hall of Fame, even though he's a perennial loser. Second half comebacks and gaudy stats in the second half, when you were getting washed, you only had 3 positive plays in the first half in that game.
Put a pin on that because he said something about Matt Ryan. I'm getting to when we talk about the Falcons.
Okay. Yeah. We have a lot of games.
Put a pin in that one. Put a pin in that one.
My bad. Pats. My bad.
All right. So general consensus. Let's get the picks because the Broncos fan is going to argue with the Jet fan in the chat, and I really want to grab a bag of popcorn to watch that.
Hey, last time I checked, the Broncos want to know the Jets not.
So, Bearman, I'll go with you first. What's your pick?
Get right to it. The New England Patriots, okay? But I do expect this game to be, it's hard to tell, but I would love to see both Wilson and Mac Jones kind of both be good. I mean, this is it's a showdown between 2 rookie quarterbacks, but, it's Bill Belichick. The Patriots have the advantage as far as the coaching goes, but I do have a lot of respect for Robert Saleh, and I really hope that he can actually make a difference for the Jets, and I believe he will, but that's going to take some time. But I think it's going to go with – I think the Patriots get it.
You think they cover the 6?
It'll go either way. I mean, I don't want to make a prediction. I can't that kind of thing, but,
Yes.
I expect this game to be hard fought. I'll put it that way. Hard fought. And okay. I do mean hard fought.
Pats by at least 10.
And Darnell?
You
got to pick the under over this week, man. You got to pick the under over this week. There's no escaping that.
It's like poison in my mouth that I'm picking the goddamn Patriots.
There you go.
Tighten up that balloon knot, baby.
That's why he picked that game first, because he knew I was going to be on. So he wanted me.
No, I'm actually
suffer at the game.
I will admit this. I am legit going off the NFL schedule on NFL.
I know you would, because I did the same thing. Patriots, man.
All right, well, I am going to pick the Pats, but it's not going to be by 6. Career history, no game has gone over 7 points the last few meetings against each other, no matter who the quarterback was. So I will take the Pats to win, Jets -6, and I'm going to go probably under.
All right.
Next up, Denver, Jacksonville. This, my friends, this is going to be one of the career interesting matchups. Trevor Lawrence coming off a 3-3 touchdown to pick ratio. Denver will be without Darby and Jerry Jeudy for this game. We got the line. It is Denver -6, under over 45.
Jamal.
Yo.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
How would you describe Teddy Bridgewater?
Describe him how? What do you mean? What are you looking for?
As a quarterback.
So, to me, Teddy Bridgewater is in that middle of tier 2, where he can win you games, right? But you shouldn't build your team on trusting the fact that he can win you the game, right? So in last year with the Saints, what made him really good with the Saints is that they had really good route runners, and they had a good offensive line, and they had a decent running game to help him out. And what is Teddy Bridgewater's bread and butter is he can throw accurately. He's athletic enough. He can throw good anticipatory throws. He's just not a deep ball thrower. His arm's not strong enough. The reason why the Broncos are so good for Teddy Bridgewater and why I was really excited that he went there is because that team is built exactly how you want your team to be built when Teddy Bridgewater is your quarterback. Okay. They averaged 355 yards last year. Teddy Bridgewater's first game with the Broncos, they generated 420 yards of offense. The Broncos have found their quarterback. I said
okay. Bearman, just a quick summary. What happened to Jacksonville last week and Trevor Lawrence?
Well, he lost his first regular season game in his career.
To who?
To the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans.
Teddy Bridgewater is better than Tyrod Taylor. Don't do that.
Ricky, give me the Broncos, because if you losing to Houston, and we know damn well Denver has the better defense. Matter of fact, hold on. Bradley Chubb on one end and Vomit on the other end.
Oh, you also got to remember Bradley Chubb did not play last week.
Oh, that's even worse. So this is his first game. So oh my gosh. I don't even care what the line is. Just give me the over. I'm taking the Broncos to walk into TIAA field and have Trevor Lawrence feeling terrible, and they're gonna put the camera on Urban Meyers looking stupid because he don't know he got 1,000-yard back behind him. So give me the Broncos.
Jamal, you can go. You go ahead on this before I snap a little. just a little.
Oh, I got you. I mean, it is kind of a fairly easy game to pick, right? The Broncos are better than the Texans, and the Jags gave up 37 points and 450 yards to Tyrod Taylor and Brandon Cooks. Urban Meyer, it was always going to take a year for Urban Meyer to figure it out. I don't know why everybody thought he was going to come in and it was going to be Florida or Ohio State out the gate. It's just, hopefully he makes it through the year, but I'm not anticipating this being a close game at all.
It's not that, Jamal. It's Urban Meyer knows the game of football, right?
Yeah.
Why are you not giving your 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago to football?
Because you have the number 1 draft pick and you got to get him reps. Preseason's cut short.
You can get him reps, but we all know a good running game helps a quarterback.
Yeah, but when you start losing the game in the manner they did and how the game got out of hand, you got to throw the ball. Like, it is what it is. At that point, just keep throwing it. Like, running the ball is not something that needs rhythm, right? Like, the running back's always going to be able to run. The quarterback has to find NFL rhythm. And I think it's more important for the long-term success that Urban Meyer gets Trevor Lawrence NFL snaps. And I think, you can sacrifice this extra game, right? Technically, this is the 4th preseason game. You can sacrifice a game or two at the beginning of the season because, honestly, if the Jags figure out halfway through the season and they go on like a 7 or 8 game run, it's not going to matter. It'll look good.
Rick, I'm going to give you a special over-under. Over-under, Trevor Lawrence 30 passes.
Obviously. But here is the dynamic, and this is the reason why we have a lot of issues with football these days. Okay? I'm going to say this as an analyst, not as a fan. So, again, this is a show done by fans for the fans. Got to make sure we get that line out, okay? The game is not smash mouth football anymore. It is not ground and pound anymore. Any opportunity, you're going to see guys come out passing on first down. It has become a pass-happy, gunslinger NFL league. You got this brand new shiny toy in Trevor Lawrence. Hello! We've seen this happen before. Numerous quarterbacks that have come out of, let's say, Alabama, whoever flourished in the NFL, a.k.a. Tua, or I could probably say the Philly quarterback. Again, I have to remember 1,800 names. I'm not going to remember them all at the same point, okay?
Jalen Hurts.
Wait.
Okay?
The disrespect that you just said to Jalen Hurts.
No. But, again, this is the deal, okay? It's a pass-happy league. You got your brand new shiny toy. You're going to want to show him off. You want to show off his arm. You want to show off his mobility. The list goes on and on. This is what happened last week. Because if you have teams, a.k.a. Denver, a.k.a. the Patriots, a.k.a. the Rams, that list is going to go on for probably about another 7 more teams. And what do they all do? They run the football. If you do not have talent on your team to run the football, all you're going to do is pass the ball 35 times plus. Denver has Melvin Gordon. They can afford to run the ball and take it off of Teddy Bridgewater.
They have James Robinson, who ran for more yards than Melvin Gordon.
Listen, I don't give a rat's ass about freaking who's running the ball in Jacksonville. This is the main difference that's going to determine this game. Teddy Bridgewater is finally going to get his true shake in a fucking team. He's not had it since he got injured in Minnesota, 5 years ago? He was a New York Jet.
4 or 5 years ago.
He was a Saint. Now he's a Denver Bronco. He was a Panther last year. Homeboy hasn't had a home. This team is better set up for Teddy Bridgewater than any of the teams he's ever been on. This is Bridgewater's time to shine. He's got one of the youngest receiving cores in the game. He's got one of, if not flourishes, one of the best tight ends that's coming up in the game. Okay? And he actually has an experienced veteran in a running back for a freaking backfield.
And they have a monster rookie running back, Javonte Williams, out of North Carolina that they drafted.
Exactly my point. The shiny brand new toy in Jacksonville is only going to last so long before they say, hey, our quarterback is getting the shit and snot knocked out of him every week because he's got to pass the ball 35 to 50 times in order for them to stay in a game.
And it's not going to, their offensive line is awful. And I don't understand why teams continue to draft these high-end quarterbacks, bring in these high-end free agents, and they don't fix the one thing that actually matters on the football field, that offensive line. You could have the best offensive line in football and you can get away. You could have Nathan Peterman back there and be decent. So I don't understand, if you have a guy who is as talented and skilled as Trevor Lawrence, why you would not even invest big money into making sure you have the best possible offensive line. This is exactly what the Bills did. The Cowboys actually did this a few years ago when they went 13-3. They used all their draft picks on offensive linemen, and they had the best offensive line in football. They just didn't have anybody else, but Jerry Jones got too excited, and then he does what he always does. He pays the skill players, which is the one thing you never should do. I don't care who you are. And that's why the Cowboys are in the position they are now.
Here, man, go ahead, give your pick real quick before I give Urban Myers a message.
Well, Denver is actually in pretty good shape, and I'm glad, in Teddy Bridgewater's case, I'm glad he's finally on a team that's good where he belongs, okay? And even though Judy is out, and there's the other player, I think Darby.
Ronald Darby is the starting corner.
Yeah. Even though they've lost two big players, the Broncos are still in good shape. And I'm curious to see what that defense can do against the Jacksonville Jaguars with all the Jacksonville's woes. So that being said, I'm going straight to the point. Denver's winning this. There's no questions asked. It's going to be Broncos. It could be Broncos destruction.
Urban, run the football. You're going to have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb ready to kill Trevor Lawrence. And guess what's going to happen next week? Chandler Jones, who beat the brakes off Ryan Tannehill last week, going to be doing the same thing in week 3 for you. Run the football.
All right. So I'm pretty sure that's a consensus of Denver.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
All right.
obviously.
Next up, and I know this has a lot of Jamal anger coming to it. It is Buffalo versus Miami in Miami. Buffalo coming off of that technical upset loss over the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. And I say technical because I really think that that game in the beginning was a very, very good game. I'm not going to lie. I did watch the majority of it before the internet bounced. It is Buffalo minus 3.5. We're going to bump that to 4 and under over 48.
Don't be lying to the American people, man. The first half was not a good game. The first half was all Buffalo. Pittsburgh looked bad on offense in the first half.
Well, I'm going to
shoot. Everyone for the defense. It looked like last year.
I'm going to shoot to Jamal because he is our Buffalo Bills representative.
I'm going to steal a line from the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play. RELAX. Relax. The cure for everything is the Miami Dolphins for the Buffalo Bills. We scrape the Miami Dolphins every time we play them. We combined 87 points last year on both of our meetings with them. The Dolphins, we're too powerful. I'm not upset about the Steelers game. I think a lot of that was just jitters. I think the home crowd kind of got into Josh Allen's head a little bit. The play calling wasn't particularly great, but we are really good at bouncing back from losses. We usually play big. It was a disappointing loss. The fact that we have all this firepower, and I think Josh Allen was trying, and I think Brian Dable was trying too hard to get everybody involved instead of just letting the game kind of happen and letting Josh Allen dictate what's going on. But yeah, the Dolphins, they're just not there. They've always been a year or two away, and I just don't think they're ready. I mean, they had a nice little surprise season. Obviously, Vegas agrees with me because the Dolphins are at home and we're getting the 4-point bump. So yeah, Bills all the way, and we're going to cover.
Quick question. Do you credit Pittsburgh more, or do you put more the onus on Buffalo when it came
I put more onus. I will put more onus on Buffalo for the simple fact that Josh Allen is a top 3 MVP candidate. The Bills are a Super Bowl pick according to Vegas, and the Steelers were not supposed to make the playoffs according to Vegas. So you know what I mean? Is the Steelers defense a little bit better than I thought they were going to be? Sure, but Buffalo. If you were to tell me that Buffalo only gave up 250 total yards and only put up 16 points, and to me, that's an outlier. That's not who they are. So I'll give that. I mean, and we've seen. Do you think the Packers are only as good as 3 points against the Saints? No, it was a bad game. Same thing with Buffalo, and we'll bounce back. We'll be okay.
Alex?
Well, as Jermol explained, Buffalo is good at bouncing back, and going back to last year, it was 87 points combined, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it seems to me that the Bills have the Dolphins' number, okay? And the Bills are a good team, okay? So that being said, there's no question in my mind they're going to bounce back and they're going to take care of business. So give me Buffalo.
And I will point out that the Dolphins gave up 397 yards of offense to the Patriots last week. And so if their defense is not that good, because the Patriots' offense isn't that good. So
and Buffalo will take advantage of that.
100%. So
yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo in the over the 6 or over the 4 or whatever it is.
3.5.
I'm in an interesting position here.
Just to let everybody know, okay, so this has been the main deal for 3 seasons going. We do not believe in a half point. Because there is no way in the NFL to score a half a point. If you're going to handicap it by a half point, we upgrade it to the full point. So we do not do decimal points on this show. Just like
Vegas want their money. That's why.
Yeah, they want their money, and I'm giving everybody the extra half point to play with. That's how I roll.
Did Bear Man go yet?
I went.
Yeah, he picked it.
He picked Buffalo?
Yes.
Yep.
Next up, San Fran versus Philly. Both teams win opening week, which is a beautiful thing. San Fran is the 3-point favorite under over 49. Who wants to start with Philly and San Fran?
I'll go. No team scored more points last week than San Fran, right? So, obviously they're off. I get that they played the Lions, but hey, don't sleep on the Lions. They came back. I was actually shocked. No. I was actually shocked by how well.
Let Jared Goff look like he was somebody.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
They know Philly, well they should have put their foot on the neck and broke it.
So how I broke this down, and I'm picking the Niners for this simple fact. I trust what I saw from the Niners beating that Detroit, who offensively is pretty good. I don't know about their defense, but offensively, Detroit's pretty good. Philly beat up on the Falcons. That's like beating up on the high school JV squad. The Falcons should make the Falcons not an NFL team anymore. They should never be allowed to play NFL football ever again. They should actually go back and play college teams until they prove that they can play with the big boys in the NFL. So I don't give Philly any credit for beating the Falcons. So I actually have no idea how good they are or not. I know how good the 49ers are, and that's why I'm picking the 49ers. They put up 41 points too. So, that's it.
Bear Man, what do you got?
And Jermol is absolutely right. Yeah, the Eagles beat up.
Where is Bear Man?
On a team that's basically, like a jobber. It's like a big superstar beating up on a jobber. Okay.
Well, I'll go there because I don't know where Bear Man is. Jalen Hurts torched the Falcons. Let's call it what it is. Matt Ryan was flat on his ass almost every goddamn play.
He became a meme, by the way.
Play San Francisco, so Jalen Hurts is gonna get a challenge now.
He's more than a meme when it comes to this week because he's facing Tom Brady, and you know what his main storyline on that one is.
So Jalen Hurts is not facing a horrible
team.
You know what?
So hold on, D. Go ahead, man.
So Jalen Hurts is not facing a Falcons team when he's facing the 49ers. Okay, and 49ers are a good team.
Still no Bear Man.
Okay? He's talking.
So therefore, San Francisco is going to win, and they're going to win convincingly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. They're going to win. San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo is not letting Trey Lance take over that team. And
No.
And that team is too talented. And I like Jimmy G. I like Trey Lance too, but we're not in that locker room. I'm assuming Jimmy G convincingly won that. It's not like the Andy Dalton, Justin Fields thing. I don't think Mike Shanahan's not incompetent like Matt Nagy is. So I think he knows that Jimmy G, Jimmy G played excellent in that game. So we'll see.
Jimmy G can only lose a job if he gets hurt, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Darnell, go ahead.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
Oh no, don't do it.
Hey, I did it last week. I was on that only pick Pittsburgh, and you see how that turned out.
Okay.
Are you picking Philly?
I'm picking Philly. I'm going with Justin Herbert. I'm going with Justin,
Jalen Hurts. See, look at you. Look at you. You don't even believe it. You don't even believe what you're saying.
I don't believe in the 49ers either because you're going to let Detroit come back like that. What you going to do when the Eagles start coming back?
I hate to say it, but you know what? That Detroit scoring 33 points, and I'm sitting there saying, oh, they're only scoring like 10. In a game that wasn't even close to the under-over, they scored 74 points. Like, come on, man. Like, I would probably understand if San Fran freaking sat there and said, hey, let's rest all our starters and put the second-tier guys in, and then Detroit came back like that. But I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I'm going to use those immortal stone cold words on the show. Don't trust anyone. I do not think that this is going to be a 3-point game, first off. And I don't think they're going to stay within the platform of the 49 points. Philly's going to score. San Fran's going to score. I got San Fran winning, but I think it may actually be a little bit close to that 3 points, maybe about 5 or 6. But this is definitely going the over, especially if Jalen Hurts actually comes out with the swagger he had last week. I mean, granted, yes, he did beat up a JV team or maybe a CFL team or an XFL team in the Atlanta Falcons, but yeah, I think San Fran's going to be ahead on this one. All right, now we're going to get the LA Rams outlook on this game. Not that we really need it. We have the Rams favored by 4 under over 48 versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Rams. Enough said. It's the Colts. It's Carson Wentz. I mean, did anybody else watch the Monday night game? Anybody else see what Matthew, league MVP, man, Super Bowl champions?
You mean Sunday night? I got you. You mean Sunday night?
Sunday night, whatever night it was on. It was amazing. Rams by a lot.
All right, Darnell, give us
Go
the
to Bearman. Go to Bearman.
Bearman, what do you got? Okay.
Jermol couldn't have said any better. I mean, it's one of those games. Do you really have to think about it? Because when you think about it, what is there to think about? Okay, it's Carson Wentz, and the Rams are good. Okay, so therefore the Rams are going to win, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams defense make Carson Wentz a jabroni. Sorry, I'm a pro wrestling junkie. I'm going to put pro wrestling humor into this, so better get used to it, guys.
Matthew Stafford went 20 for 26 for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay? Now, yes, it was the Bears. Yes. The one thing the Colts do well is stop the run. They have really good run defense. They were like number 2 in the league last year. Great. You know what the Rams don't do? They don't fucking run. They pass all over the place. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. And the Matthew Stafford has a bazooka for an arm. Trust me, that number 2, the one thing that the Colts can do, they're not going to be able to do because the Rams are a throwing team. So, yeah, that run game don't matter.
Who did the Colts play at week 1?
Seattle.
Is
And
Seattle
the Rams
defense,
are better. Rams are
is
better
Seattle
than
defense better than the Rams?
Nope.
Is they D-line better than the Rams?
Nope.
Hold on, wait. Russ and cooked them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Carson almost had 100 yards rushing, right?
Yeah.
So
you're just saying Rams big.
you're telling me you said the odds is what, 3.5?
3.5. It's ridiculous.
3.5.
3.5?
Rams at Indy, not Indy.
And you telling me nobody's gonna confuse Seattle D's line for the Rams D line, right?
Nope, not at all.
And we saw what the D line for Seattle did to Carson Wentz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the Colts supposed to have a great offensive line, right?
Supposed to.
Are they supposed to? Yeah.
They're supposed to have a better running game too. Apparently.
Hold on, matter of fact, Aaron Donald had 1 sack, right? Only one sack.
I dare you. I dare you.
Now. He's pissed off now. He's going to go for more.
I dare you to pick the Colts. I don't know what your logic is here, but I dare you. I swear.
See Jamal. Ricky, fill Jamal in.
You ain't got to fill me in. Let me know. You tell me. No. Don't.
He's obviously a Rams fan, so you know where he's gonna lay his pillow.
Oh, okay.
Here's my thing. Again, don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone because you know what? This is the deal. Again, a lot of people are not realizing these facts. Carson Wentz has only played 1 game.
Yeah.
1 game. He did not play any preseason. The only thing he's had is his shits and giggles at practice.
Same thing with Matthew Stafford.
I'm going to say that Jim Mora word. practice.
No, he said
Ricky,
playoffs.
I can
that
take what
too.
you just said and throw it out there because Matthew Stafford ain't even touched preseason either.
Yes, but you know what the difference is?
Devastating injury.
Exactly my point. He is coming off of an injury that he only spent 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Okay? Guaranteeingly enough, I'll tell you, his practice sessions this week were better than the practice sessions before week 1.
Shout out to critical. Shout out to critical Broncos
So you
fan.
saying the Colts are going to show up, huh? Is that what you're saying?
It doesn't matter. They can show up all they want. It don't matter. Critical Broncos fan says he wished Quentin. I think he means Quentin Nelson is fully healthy for his matchup against Donald. That would have been nice. That would have been really nice. That would have been a good
Quentin
challenge.
Nelson ain't healthy. You Aaron Donald coming in. Aaron, you do realize Aaron Donald's not happy.
And the only
You
reason
only got
why,
to Aaron Donald one time.
listen, the only you can't blame the head coach for this QB carousel that they've had. Okay? Because right before the season starts last year, who's the one who took his ball and went the fuck home? And that put the Colts automatically in a spot right off the bat. By the way, who was the quarterback for the Colts who took his ball and went home?
Andrew Luck,
Thank you.
the greatest bust of all time. Andrew Luck.
I wouldn't say he
I can't
was,
say bust.
I wouldn't say he was a
took them to the
bust,
playoffs
but
when he was there.
Whoa.
He took them to the
hold on.
playoffs.
How many times?
Damn near every year that he was there. God damn it.
Damn near every year he was there. What was their record in the playoffs?
Okay, they ain't do good in the playoffs.
Alex, look up Andrew Luck's playoff record for me while I.
It's not good because he usually runs with Tom Brady.
No, Darnell, don't be moonwalking out the door now.
I ain't moonwalking. I say he took them to the playoffs. I ain't say they won champ. I say he took them to the playoffs damn near every year.
Great. Who did Andrew Luck replace on that Colts team?
I've got your answer, by the way, sir.
Go ahead, please give it to me.
4-4.
Okay. What was the farthest he's reached, and how many times did he reach the AFC title game? And how many?
I think he did in 2014. That was the same game where the
and he ran into the Patriots.
The Flakegate scandal supposedly took
Gotcha.
place.
So in 6 years, he only made it to the AFC title game once. Great. Now that we have that baseline, who did Andrew Luck get drafted to replace?
Peyton Manning.
Okay. Andrew Luck, for the kids at home, all of us are old enough to remember, Andrew Luck was touted as the greatest college prospect of all time. The next big thing in the NFL. They put him in the top 5 in his rookie year. He had all the
Trevor Lawrence.
He was touted even higher than Trevor Lawrence. When I say bust, I don't mean he didn't come out and play good. What I mean is, did you get your return on investment? If you have the highest amount of equity, right? If people are investing a lot into you and you don't get that return on investment, then by simple definition, your return has to be greater than what they put in. They did not draft him to play 6 years and only reach the AFC title game once. They drafted him to be Peyton Manning, to be there for 10 plus years and to win Super Bowls. That's what they drafted him for. He is a bust. They did not get their return on investment. No. And because he was the greatest to come out of college, he has to be the greatest bust because he didn't even come close to living up to that potential, living up to what he was advertised to be.
I hate to say this, and I'm going to date myself with all the gray hairs on my face, but they also gave us that same line with Ryan Leaf when he got drafted by the Chargers back then.
Oh, who went before Peyton Manning?
Who went before Peyton Manning, and dude, he threw like a girl. I'm not even going to joke when I say this.
But there's different ways.
And again, and it's the crazy thing about every analyst that comes out and says college things. Oh, this is the greatest quarterback to come out of college. And what have we seen? All except for maybe the exceptions of like Peyton Manning, you've seen 4th round guys go and done things. They've won Super Bowls. Obviously, TB12, 6th round, 199th pick, win Super Bowls. Not every 1st round pick is going to be one of the greatest, stoutest guys coming out of college. And obviously, there's been differences. Ryan Leaf was on 4 teams in his career?
Right.
And
but he was a traditional
bust. 5 games.
But he was a traditional bust, right? The Jamarcus Russells, the Ryan Leafs, but none of them were touted nearly as much as Andrew Luck has. And I understand a lot of that is ageism, right? A lot of that is just time. Like the game just gets bigger, but that's not Ryan Leaf's fault, and that's not Andrew Luck's fault. You know, the Colts, he was supposed to be in the ranks of Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady, and he wasn't at all, not even close.
That's why I throw the owner under a bus, because he ain't do his damn job.
100%. Great. I never said it was completely his fault, but it is what it is at the same time.
All right, let's get moving on here.
Mm-hmm.
We got up next Raiders and Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Josh Jacobs for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes, and my eyes will definitely be on this game, and I will tout this rock. I love defense. I want to see these two teams defensively kill each other. And I mean kill each other. I want to see stretchers. I want to see bandages. I want to see broken noses. I think this is going to be a really, really good game.
Ricky, we're not in your childhood, okay?
We're
not in your childhood, so you're not gonna get all that. You should know this by now.
All right, so then I'll try to watch some games from the 70s instead of the actual live game. Does that make you feel any better?
No, I'm just letting you know. You want stuff that happens in the 70s. It's not going to happen in 2021.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, because football.
They're not going to run the ball like that because Josh Jacobs is out, and Derek Carr, he's gonna get his opportunity to throw the ball. We all know Pittsburgh likes throwing the ball.
Well,
they should be better running, but
let us also put a keynote on this that Marcus Mariota is now out as well. So Derek Carr does not have a backup.
So Derek also sitting up with TJ Watt coming to get him.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's why another reason why I want to see some blood, guts, and gore.
You don't like Derek Carr, do you?
No, I don't like Derek Carr.
I like Derek Carr.
So Pittsburgh's favored by 6, under over 47. I'm gonna start with Bearman on this.
You know, it's tough, obviously. You know, Las Vegas is coming off a hell of a win in Week 1 over the Ravens, and I've been saying all week, what better place for a crazy game than Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
But look, now that Derek Carr does not have a backup, that's definitely something to be worried about. But I think Vegas overall is still in good shape, and they're playing against Pittsburgh. But I think at the end, Las Vegas could put up all the efforts, but I think Pittsburgh is going to survive. And I do mean survive. That means Pittsburgh is going to have to fight tooth and nail every second of this game.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly think the Raiders are going to cover. I do think the Steelers are going to win. So if we're picking based on covering, I guess I would pick the Raiders, but I do think the Steelers are going to win. The Raiders gave up 400 yards to the Ravens last week, and Lamar Jackson can't throw a lick. So offensively, I think the Steelers are better than the Ravens, outside of quarterback. So I think, I think it'll be close. And I do think the Steelers defense is better than what people were giving them, but we'll see. I like Derek Carr, but I think the Steelers defense is gonna smother him, and they're gonna turn it into an ugly game.
Darnell,
Steel City. What more do you need from me? Pittsburgh.
this is where I'm going different. This is where I'm definitely going different.
He's picking the Raiders.
I'm picking the Raiders, and I'm telling you this. That front four of the Raiders defense, they have motors. When Lamar came out and said defenses are never going to figure me out, the Raiders figured him out. Mm-hmm. They found the kink in the armor, which is supposed to be a former Steelers lineman that they pretty much Mack trucked the entire
What do you mean figure out? Define figure out.
If it weren't for that front four of the Raiders defense that had Lamar Jackson, even in crunch time, fumbling the ball, what are they going to do to Ben Roethlisberger?
That's not freaking him out.
They are going to push
That's
the house
just them not
against
giving up and waiting for the right moment they're trying to get Lamar Jackson. Because Lamar Jackson was making them look stupid for most of that game.
He did, but again,
He did.
the pressure is what made.
Figure out means you at quarterback and you can't do a damn thing.
And what were the two
I don't
key
agree with
points
that.
from that Baltimore game on Monday night?
Two out of all of the plays that Lamar made so many plays, but he made two mistakes. They didn't figure him out.
Exactly.
They made the correct
why
play.
Baltimore lost.
But don't say figure out. They did not figure him out.
Yes, they did, because they had him running all over the place.
And he was making them look stupid when he was running.
Team that wants Lamar to be more of a pocket guy than a scrambler. That was my big point. That was my big point.
If you want to beat them, you put the ball in Lamar's hands. Let him scramble around the backfield and get 5-6 yards a run, because we've seen in the playoffs repeatedly the last 2 or 3 years when the game is on Lamar's shoulders, he can't do it. And that's what they did. The Pistons, you know how they beat the Bulls? They let everybody else, they locked everybody else up and let Michael Jordan do his thing. And that's exactly what teams are doing to the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, you can dance and run around all you want to. We're not letting you get the ball to Hollywood Brown. We're not letting you run and get the ball to Mark Andrews. Enough of that, buddy. Okay? You run around and do all your dancing, and we're going to win the games.
I got a question. This is for Ricky
That's one thing
Jermol.
I do agree with. They did not let Mark Andrews get involved in that game.
I got a question for both.
You can let Hollywood get involved, because Hollywood, you don't know what he's
doing. Can you not hear Alex?
No, actually, I cannot hear Alex.
Maybe you got him muted by accident. I don't know.
Yeah, just see if it's. Let me.
No, actually, he's not even on my screen.
Oh, uh-oh.
Well, I'm here,
Go
but
yeah, go ahead, Alex.
my question to you, Jermol and Ricky, is: so a few weeks ago, when Lamar said that defense, with this whole thing with figuring it out, I said, look, you don't say things like that, even if it's whether it's true or not. Don't focus on that stuff, because it's gonna bite you right in the butt. So my question is, rather than saying that, should Lamar Jackson should have just knew his role and do what? Should it have been like that?
That's a coaching thing. If teams are locking, if Lamar Jackson can't get the ball to Mark Andrews to Hollywood Brown, that's on the offensive coordinator to come up with schemes. Now the Ravens have done a really good job of hiding the things that Lamar Jackson can't do well, and that's why they've been semi-successful, right? But in the playoffs, it's different, right? The teams are better. The coaching's better. Teams are realizing, hey, Lamar Jackson's going to be amazing. We just have to stop him from getting the ball to people. He can't beat us by himself. And I honestly don't know what you can do with that other than, just be more creative with the play calling.
Okay.
But to the that critical Broncos fan who's amazingly contributing to the show, thank you again for that. I appreciate your viewing. If you haven't liked our page yet, hit that like and the follow, and you'll get to see where we're on all the time. Here's my thing. Yes, we're going to talk. We'll talk about Baltimore in a little bit, but yes, Baltimore scored 27 points. That's all fine and dandy, but that game became a shootout in the second half.
It did.
Okay, it became a shootout in the second half and in overtime. Okay, and if teams weren't sitting there trying to say, "Oh, we're not figuring out this situation," the Raiders did it. Yeah. The Raiders came out at half and they found that kink in the armor going into the second half. And Lamar could not adjust. He's not, to me, I don't think he's one of those guys that knows how to tremendously audible out of plays.
No.
And you also got to remember now, he's now on his fourth running back. So that run game is obviously not as effective as it was to begin with. Yes, they are figuring him out, and I can guarantee tell you, like Jermol said, the more you make him run is the more that you're not going to be able to get it to your other key players, and you could score 31 points and still lose. Because you know what? They have a game coming up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that history hasn't been that great either, but that's later on in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally not. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cincinnati and Chicago. In Chicago, this should be This should be a 3.5-hour bathroom visit.
Nah, don't say that. Hey, don't say that.
The only reason why I would say that there's anything really good is the J&J connection, and I mean Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon from the Cincinnati Bengals. Chicago is actually favored by 2 points, under over 45. Who would like to take the?
Hold on, Jamal.
Yo.
Maybe you can help me out with this. Because Bearman try to figure it out. I ain't talked to Ricky about it, but how does Minnesota lose to Cincinnati?
A fumble.
I mean, the Vikings just Viking it up. I mean, same thing that's always ailed them. They have the funny thing is, I think they have the pieces. It's just there's always I don't know. They just never could put it together. I think it's coaching. I don't think their coach is very good, but that's just me.
Okay. You can go ahead with the game.
I'm picking the Bengals, man. I'm totally invested in the Tiger King, Joe Burrow. He's amazing.
That boy, that's something special.
He's something special. Jamar Chase, if he can give us another game like that, you got Joe Mixon coming in. I'm actually shocked that the Bears are favored. The only reason I can think of the Bears being favored in this game, other than them being home, which is where you traditionally get your 3-point spread, is that they have an inside tip that Justin Fields may be starting. But until I hear that officially, I actually have no idea why the Bears are favored at all. And I'm picking the Bengals for sure. I'm picking them to win outright.
And can I ask an honest question?
Go ahead.
I don't think Andy Dalton played bad Sunday night.
He couldn't finish drives. He turned the ball over twice. Like Andy Dalton is not a bad quarterback, but I have something that we call on Stuff About Sports. We have this thing we call the Andy Dalton virus. And this is when a quarterback like Andy Dalton is not really that good for your team. You can't win with this guy. But he'll give you that one game, one or a couple games a season. There's usually like 3 or 4 sprinkled out throughout the season where you sit there and you look at it and you say to yourself, that Andy Dalton, not that bad. And what that does is you keep this guy because you're scared of losing him. The Ravens did that with Joe Flacco for years, right? The Bears just did it with Mitchell Trubisky. They found every excuse in the world until they no longer could have an excuse to keep this guy. The Bears are about to make this mistake, and they need to stop it. They need to go ahead and just knock it off. Justin Fields is the future, and everybody knows it. Andy Dalton, I don't care what promises you made him. Yeah, Andy Dalton, we promised that you'd be the starter.
Which is like I don't even know why. From what they said, they didn't have a quarterback at the time. So yeah,
they didn't. But I mean,
still, who makes promises in the NFL?
I don't care if you made the promise. Fuck you, Andy Dalton. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we promised it to you. Now what? Like, we're starting Justin Fields now. Like, it doesn't matter.
This is my thing the whole time. They didn't want to throw Justin Fields out there knowing week 1, that's the Rams. We got Aaron Donald coming for you. Week 3 is Cleveland. And they got a defense too. So let's just wait a minute here. And then maybe when we get to Detroit week 4, then we might go to Justin Fields, right? But I believe for me, you don't want out the gate, you throw him against the Rams. I don't think you want to do that.
I mean, Joe Burrow, 261 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a 100-yard game from Jamar Chase and a touchdown. You had a 100-yard game from Joe Mixon. And you probably should have won that game by more than what you did. You had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. I'm on the Cincinnati bandwagon. So, yeah, I'm rolling with the Bengals.
I think I got to flip a coin. It is Soldier Field.
Fuck Soldier Field.
I feel like this game, if I picked the Bears, I'd be a freaking idiot.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not going to pick the Bears. And it's not because I don't want people to call me an idiot. It's because it's obvious. Joe Burrow did great. And, the Bengals winning that game was good. Okay? So I think the Bengals are going to go 2-0. It's that simple. Cincinnati is going to win.
Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North.
Whoa, he said it.
I said it. I don't care. I don't. Lamar Jackson and his fluke MVP.
Mark it down. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North. This is week 2 of the season.
Jamal may actually be correct.
And he
I
was
didn't
the
say
best
he was wrong.
quarterback.
I didn't say he was wrong. I just said mark it down because we gonna revisit this as the season gets
He was
further
on. He
along.
was on pace for a historic season last year before he had his injury. He is the best quarterback in the AFC North. Book it.
He said book it. I love it. I love it.
Okay. I don't care what quarterback carousel you're going to have in Chicago. Justin Fields is not ready. He is not ready.
What makes you say that?
His play in the preseason did not make me a believer. And that was that wasn't even against starting guys. That was against secondary guys.
Are we talking about when he got his head taken off by the Buffalo Bills?
I'm telling you that he said that the game was too slow. And again, that's against second, third, and fourth tier guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Not even a joke. Even if you, let's say you got Fields in for a few gadget plays, you'd be okay. But the problem is that the Bears are stuck now with Andy Dalton, who's making what, $10 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
They have the back end of Nick Foles' freaking $88 million deal that he signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay? So if you're not going to use Justin Fields and you're going to start Andy Dalton, then why the fuck do you even have Nick Foles on the team anymore?
Oh, who was the healthiest scratch for Sunday night, by the way?
Exactly the point.
Veteran leadership. He's a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion. You got a young,
Do I need to repeat what I said on Tuesday, Ricky?
He's sitting there taking a roster spot. Let's just put it that way.
Nick Foles only works in Philly.
Okay, but again, Cincinnati is right now a little bit more established. They're a younger team. They're hungrier. Okay? I have not seen a viable running back in Chicago for 2 years.
Hey,
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery ran 100 yards on us. What are you talking about?
I don't even listen. They had great running backs and they let most of them go. Again, Chicago's in like purgatory right now, and I ain't just talking about quarterbacks. I'm talking the
Chicago
whole team.
has a running back. Okay,
The whole
they just
team
don't have
is
a quarterback.
in purgatory. Because again, like you said before, Jamal, Matt Nagy has no clue what he's doing.
Matt Nagy is the perfect example of just because you make a good salesman doesn't mean you'll make a good sales manager. Just because you're a good some people are just coordinators. Matt Nagy, you're one of them, buddy. Sorry. Now, I don't think Justin Fields isn't ready. I don't think the Bears' offensive line isn't ready. And that's probably why they're sticking with Andy Dalton, because they know this. Their offensive line is one of the worst. And there's no need to throw Justin Fields out there if your offensive line is that bad and he's going to be running for his life half the time as a rookie quarterback. Historically not great.
Ricky, are you making the Bengals across the board?
I honestly should be taking the home team, but I think I got the Bengals for this one.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right. While you guys talk about this, I need to kindly step away for just a moment. But we are currently moving on to a brain beating. This is going to be very brutal.
Do we have to talk about this?
Yes, we do.
We really have to talk about this?
You know what? Give a brief summation on this because we know this is going to be.
I like Tyrod Taylor.
This is going to be. This is going to be a punch in the dick. I'm telling you.
Brandon Cooks finally decided to show up for once. Yeah, they got Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsay there. Yeah, great. But the Cleveland Browns are pissed off. They know they pissed away another game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So give me Cleveland.
Go ahead, Alex.
Straightforward. Cleveland's pissed off. They could have won that game and they blew it away. So, I have to go with Cleveland. I have to.
Okay, but I didn't get to read the line, and this is probably one of the shocking lines that I'm ever going to read. Get ready for the barf bag. This line is Cleveland laying 14 to the Houston Texans and an over of 48. Now, here's where I am going to have some fun with this one. Taking Cleveland, but Houston with the points.
Yeah.
Because as much as I want to kind of retread the Houston-Jacksonville game, yes, I believe Houston can put up points. Do I have a lot of faith in Cleveland's defense right now? Not so much. Not so much, because I thought Cleveland's defense would have done a little bit of a better job against Kansas City last week. And if Baker didn't throw that freaking interception in the that last faithful drive, it might have looked a little bit better. But yeah, I would take the points definitely. 14 to start off the bat being down, that's just horrible.
But before I comment on Broncos, man, I'm gonna let Jamal go ahead and get his pick in now.
I'm with Ricky, and I'm actually almost tempted to take the Texans outright, but because I believe that the Browns of all teams play up to their competition probably better than anybody else. But on the flip side, they play down to their competition, which is very dangerous. There's Odell Beckham's not playing, right? I think they already out.
He was already out as of Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably won't be back to like week 5.
By the way, Jamal, if you want to trade for him in my fantasy league, you're more than welcome.
Okay, I got you. Well, we'll set out how my people talk to your people. The Texans were 3.5-point underdogs, and they put 450 yards of offense, and nobody saw that coming. So I'm not just going to write off the Houston Texans just like that. I think
I did, but my dumb ass still picked Jacksonville.
Did you?
I mean, hey, I picked Jacksonville too, so hey.
I was literally sitting here because I went on the show. I'm like, these boys picking Jacksonville. I'm like, do y'all know who at quarterback? Tyrod Taylor. That's not a bad dude. He's like Teddy Bridgewater.
I picked Houston.
He's a good quarterback.
I picked Houston.
But
well, you picked him last week?
Last week I picked the Texans. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think I will go with the Browns. I do think this is their year to put it all together to be a competent team. But we spoke earlier about Teddy Bridgewater finally getting his chance. This is Tyrod Taylor's chance. He hasn't had a real shot. He ended up my Buffalo Bills playoff drought. Then we drafted Josh Allen. Goes to the Browns. They draft Baker Mayfield, and he gets a concussion. Then he goes to the Chargers, and they put a hole in his lung. And then they drafted Justin Herbert. So he hasn't had a fair shot to actually run the team for him. And I've always been a Tyrod Taylor fan. So shout out to him, and I hope the Texans. I actually hope the Texans win, because I think it would be a tremendous story after all the bullshit they've gone through with Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Rapist out there, and hopefully, they can. It'll be a cool story for the Texans to actually be good. So, yeah, I'll go with the Browns, but I think Texans will cover.
All right, this is where I'm going to step out.
You know what? I'm gonna go back and listen to last week's episode, because I don't think you picked Houston. I think you said Jacksonville.
I had Houston on the ESPN one.
So he had Houston on his, but he come on the show and say Jacksonville. You see that?
Why would I pick freaking Mr. Trevor Lawrence? Because I don't like him personally myself. But that's besides the point.
But you said Jacksonville on the show. That's what I'm saying.
All right. This is where I'm going to depart for a few minutes, and this is obviously going to be a good game to talk about. You might as
well make your pick then.
We got the New Orleans Saints going to Carolina versus the Panthers. We got the line of New Orleans -3, under over 45. And Bearman, give me the percentage for the pick.
The percentage for the pick, the Saints and the Panthers. Well, it's both it's a 51% win, and then it's 56 for cover.
And that was the split, or was that the Saints?
No, that's for Carolina.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna ride the wave on this one. I believe that Jameis has finally found something, and I don't want to say that Green Bay made a lot of mistakes last week, because they obviously did, and they played like a big dumpster fire. But I think that Jameis now has found a system that he actually is going to fit in. Can we say the head coaching is a little bit better than it was when he was in Tampa? Yes. Mm-hmm. I think the offense is more West Coast, which is where I think Jameis kind of fits. So I'm going to roll with the Saints. Given the points and the under-over of 45, I'm going to go over.
I really wanted to pick the Panthers here, but when I made my little list, the only thing I can come back to is that the New Orleans Saints defense completely shut down the reigning MVP. And I'm going with the Saints, but I'm also going with the over because I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Sam Darnold is going to fare a little bit better because Carolina's offense is actually really good. And the difference between Carolina's offense and Green Bay's offense, other than obviously Aaron Rodgers, is the fact that they have Christian McCaffrey. And that's going to help Sam Darnold. So I'm going to go with the over, but I'm going to pick the Saints because I think their defense looked amazing. I'd like to do a deeper dive on the numbers there, I'd like a little bit bigger sample size because I also think that was more that the Green Bay Packers had an off game, but the Saints defense looked like amazing. So I will go with the over. I think each team's going to have over 30 points. Dead serious.
All right, same question that I posed to you when it came to the Bills and Steelers. Are we crediting New Orleans more, or are we looking at Aaron Rodgers like all that offseason stuff that you put Green Bay through and yourself through? This is what happens.
Green Bay for sure. I mean, think about it. Get somebody look up the last time, and this is like a rhetorical question because it doesn't happen. Jameis Winston only had 20 attempts. He only threw for 148 yards, but the boy had 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not a sustainable, like, that just doesn't happen. That has to be a product of like the perfect storm. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that, like, I would like and this is why I was actually going to think about picking the Panthers. The Panthers are going to make Jameis Winston throw the ball more than 20 times. That's when we're going to see, because that level of efficiency is not, 1, Jameis Winston's bag, 2, not a sustainable long-term recipe for success. And I think people are giving Winston his flowers, which he deserves because he played well and their team won and who they beat and how they beat them. But let's give it a minute and see, because Jameis doesn't, that's one game versus 5-6 years of Jameis's career where we've seen the complete opposite.
Go ahead, Bear Man.
It's definitely going to be a good game, but I think the Saints are gonna when it's all said and done, the Saints are going to emerge victorious.
Yeah, I'm looking up some deep dive numbers. I mean, the Saints, they had 171 rushing yards. They averaged 4 yards per carry. Panthers defense is good. It's a good defense. You know what I mean? I'm trying to
quarterback. Are we taking Winston or are we taking Sam Darnold?
Damn it. I think it would be easy to give it to Winston, but I was actually more impressed with Sam Darnold last week. He ran for one. He almost had 300 yards. He threw one. When I watched him in the offense, it just looked more complete. Like, Winston just took advantage of some great field position where he didn't have to like lead the Saints up and down the field all game like Sam Darnold had to. The defense gave Winston great field position, which is why he was able to get 5 touchdowns off of only 20 attempts, and only have 148 yards. Like, again, I would like to see what happens when he has to throw, 35 plus times like a regular quarterback does.
Okay. This one is more of a toss-up. Kamara or C-Mac?
C-Mac. It's not a toss-up.
You like C-Mac that much?
Yeah, for sure.
I love Christian McCaffrey.
He's the best running back in football, easily, by a lot.
Okay. Coaching, we know it's going to be Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm leaving my hat on. I like Sean Payton to do what he does more than Matt Rule can do with the Panthers. So I'm taking the Saints because of Sean Payton.
All right. Let's get to Minnesota versus Arizona. Cardinals coming off of that impressive win over the Titans last week. And Minnesota fell short, obviously, to the Cincinnati Bengals in overtime. This is going to be a doozy. I'm not even going to joke. I think this is going to be, again, one of those games that you can kind of put the highlight game of the week on it. It's Arizona favored by 4 and over a 51. Bearman, I'll let you go first.
Oh, give me the Cardinals. And I hate to say that because one of my best friends is a Vikings fan, but look, you know what? it's going to be the Cardinals.
All right, who would like to follow that one up?
I mean, the problem with the not the Bengals, the Vikings, who the Bengals played week 1.
Yes,
is that they couldn't get Dalvin Cook going. That's how the Vikings win games. They have to establish the run so Kirk Cousins can cook. The problem is the Cardinals have a really good run defense, and they shut down Derrick Henry. And if you're shutting down Derrick Henry, you probably are shutting down Dalvin Cook, which is probably why the Cardinals are going to win big.
Darnell, his wheels are spinning over there.
Who's the quarterback for Minnesota?
Kirk Cousins, man.
Mr. I can't win in prime time. He's actually winless in prime time.
I thought he won one. No, maybe he's winless.
No. I think he's like 0-12 in prime time.
Oh no, not good.
Kirk Cousins is a problem. I know Adam Thielen is his favorite target. I get it, right? But man, how many times did he throw behind Justin Jefferson against the Bengals?
Too many?
Like, dude, you have one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. If you put the ball on him, he's going to score, if not make a big play.
By the way, the critical Broncos fan says that Kirk Cousins won a Monday Night Football game last year.
I'm about to say, I could have swore he won a primetime game recently. And I disagree with you. Kirk Cousins ranked 7th last year in deep passes. He ranked 8th last year in total QBR. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I'm telling you, the problem in Minnesota is coaching. You get Kirk Cousins is in the Alex Smith range, where I don't think he can go out there and, well, I think Alex Smith is better. I do think Alex Smith can go out there and win you games because he's done it. But that team is good enough for Kirk Cousins to lead, but for some reason that the coaching, man, so like it's just something about it is off. And
I'm not putting that on the coach. I literally watched the Cincinnati game. If he puts the ball on Justin Jefferson, they win the game.
I understand that, but I'm not. You're taking one play, and we can go by all the games and pick out a play that a quarterback, even on the winning teams, did that cost them points or cost them great field position or whatever. I'm not putting one play on Kirk Cousins.
Don't get me wrong. He won't turn the ball over. He won't turn the ball over.
Kirk Cousins, by all accounts, is a top 10 quarterback statistically. Like, you know, people want to blame him for these losses, and that's just the nature of he's the quarterback. But he is not the problem in Minnesota. As much as people want to give it to him, he's not. He's simply not. It's just not true.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to get sacked by Chandler Jones over and over again.
Let me tell you, he was 7th in deep pass percentage. He's 8th in total QBR. He was 9th last year in completion percentage. He's 8th in total yards. And where is he in total touchdowns? Now he's 6th in total touchdowns, passing touchdowns. It's not Kirk Cousins, guys. Stop. I read all these things and I look online and everybody's blaming Kirk Cousins. Guess what? It's not Kirk Cousins.
I'm going to interject here a little bit. They always say that Cardinal line defense wins games. And if you look at Minnesota's defensive numbers over the last few years, the number has been in decline. Their secondary is horrible. Horrible. Their front seven has not ranked anything higher than 15 in the last 3 seasons. So defensively, numbers right now do not look good for the Minnesota Vikings. The only way Minnesota stays alive in this game is if they have a dramatic shootout with Mr. Kyler Murray and the rest of that lovely, talented wide receiving core for the Arizona Cardinals.
Did you just say the only way to stay alive is a shootout?
Correct.
They ain't knowing in hell they're going to have a shootout with Arizona.
The proof is in the pudding. If Kirk Cousins' numbers are that good, then you can't knock him, but can you knock the players around him? Yes.
Yeah, the defense is good. Yeah.
Minnesota's offensive line is probably maybe, and I'm just going to shoot from the hip on this, probably anywhere ranked from 15 to 20 in the NFL. And again, if you're not getting Dalvin Cook running, what are you doing? You're passing the ball. That means you're going to have to stay tote with, again, Kyler Murray running around like a freaking crazed chicken, him throwing the ball to fucking DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk, and all of them. That's the only way Minnesota's staying in this game.
And we haven't seen AJ Green yet.
But and their defense, AJ Green's washed. The defense of Minnesota is what's stopping them from winning. You just said it, Ricky. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 49 times against the Bengals. He had a 73% completion percentage. He had 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't understand why you're blaming Kirk Cousins. I don't know what game.
Because it should have been full touchdowns.
Oh, my Lord.
It should have been full touchdowns.
Oh, my God. This guy.
Okay. So did everybody make their picks on this?
Yeah.
It's Cardinals across the board, man. Minnesota ain't got no chance in this.
Okay, this is going to be a quick pick because I really don't even want to get into this. Atlanta at Tampa. Go.
Tampa.
You should already know.
Moving on. Tom Brady.
Right, the only twist that I'll give it to you for this game is the line. It is Tampa 13, obviously favored by 13, and the under-over is 52.
Oh, under on the totals, but over on the spread. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think they're going to get to
I'm actually taking Atlanta, getting the points.
What?
13 points.
They scored 6 against the Eagles.
Yes, but again, I'm not trusting the line.
I know what he's doing. It's a divisional game. This is what this is.
You know what
it's a divisional game.
It's not even a divisional game because what ended up happening Thursday night last week? Everybody said Dallas was getting smoked like a big Cuban cigar, and it didn't happen.
And you know Tampa Bay has heard that for the last 10 days, right?
Tampa.
So you know what's going to happen.
I don't give a rat's ass if you fucking prepared for a month.
And you giving Matt Ryan the points. Really? Matt Ryan.
Again.
A very good Matt Ryan.
I don't trust the game because if Tampa was at 100%, they would have truly smoked the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody said that game was going to be a romp. And what ended up happening? What ended up happening in the last drive of that game? Tampa goes down the field for a game-winning field goal.
You telling me Atlanta's offense is up there with Dallas offense?
No, but you're guaranteeingly telling you right now that that daunted Tampa defense that everybody went and choked the chicken on didn't do it with Dallas. Are we trusting them against the Falcons? Because you know what?
Falcons.
The Falcons in double-digit spreads over the last 3 years since their 28-3 loss.
Against who? Against what quarterback? Against what quarterback?
Against Tom Brady.
Okay?
Okay, but here was the game. Here was the difference, though. Okay? Tampa always comes up for big divisional games. They've done it in the past. If you go back to look at all of the spreads that Tampa... Listen to me.
Did he just say Tampa comes up big for divisional games?
No, I said Atlanta comes up for these big divisional games. And here's why. I checked these numbers. Every time Tampa has had a double-digit game where they are favored by double digits, the game ends up becoming closer than what everybody ever thinks.
How many of them games Tom Brady was quarterback?
It wasn't against Atlanta that I'm talking about the double-digit things. They were favored. They were given points. They were.
Tom Brady was the quarterback.
Listen,
Tampa Bay Buccaneers win that.
How many games were the Saints favored by double digits against the Atlanta Falcons, and the game ended in under 6 points difference?
I say when Tom Brady's the quarterback of Tampa.
I'm talking about Drew Brees. I'm talking about every big game quarterback that they've ever gone against and had double-digit points.
I love Drew Brees, but Drew Brees is not Tom Brady.
Okay, but again, Brees had better weapons than Tom Brady has ever had until he got to Tampa.
And yet this man has 7 championships.
Again, there's the difference. I'm telling you that the game is going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks, and that's why I'm taking the 13 points. Again, don't trust anybody.
You can't even trust your own damn team.
Well, I only lost by 1 point last week, so I'm not.
You still lost.
Actually, Broncos fan, I was the one out of our group that gave the Dallas Cowboys a chance. Even our own Dallas correspondent didn't give them a chance. So know that. That's
I was
why
picking Tampa anyway. I don't care
beast at
what
these
was
picks.
going to happen. It's Tampa.
Okay, next up, because we got like 4 more games to go. Tennessee versus Seattle. Seattle obviously trouncing Indy last week. Tennessee took one in the balloon knot against the Arizona Cardinals. We got, let's see here. What number? Alex, what do we have for the spread?
So for
6.5.
Tennessee and Seattle, yeah, there you go. But, technically,
Yeah, we
technically
bump it to
we'll go with
7.
Oh, 7.
Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah.
54 points though total. I mean, that's.
This is that don't trust anybody game this is the don't trust anybody game for you, Ricky.
Actually, I'm just gonna give you my pick right away. Okay. I have more faith in Russell Wilson than I do in Ryan Tannehill.
Everybody does.
I have more faith in the wide receiving core of the Seattle Seahawks. Okay? That Tennessee defense last week went to show that they are not the defense that they have been in the past. Okay? And stealing a little bit of Mr. Fleming's heat there. That secondary got legitimately dismantled. As much as I don't want to even put anything on Malcolm Butler being of significance of a loss, that secondary has issues. I will fully put my faith in the Seattle Seahawks on this one. At home with the 12th man.
Jamal,
Year.
question for you.
Year.
We know what the 12th man is like in Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to beat the 12th man in Seattle, what do you need to have?
You need to have a run game.
Does Tennessee have a run game?
They do. But Seattle's run defense is really good. And they held Jonathan Taylor to only like 50 yards, 60 yards, somewhere in that range. Pretty good sign. I think the Seahawks finally figured out that to win games with Russell Wilson, the key is not to have him throw more, it's to have him throw less. They were extremely efficient last week. I am actually scared for the Titans. I think they came in with all the hype, and they're trying to figure out how to use Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry all at the same time. And I think Seattle is out to prove something this year. And I think I forgot what game we were talking about earlier, but everything lines up for Tennessee to win this game, except the one thing they need to go their way, Seattle's really good at, and that's run defense. And if Tennessee can't get their run game going, Ryan Tannehill is just average. That's just me. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Bearman, you're up.
Everything Jamal said is spot on. Okay, so that's why, and really based on how Tennessee was last week, if the running game is not going anywhere, and like you said, Ryan Tannehill is average, and I don't think the running game is going to be effective for Tennessee this week, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I mean, it's more than, of course, people just say, well, it's Russell Wilson. I'm like, well, it's more than that. Got to be more specific, and that's it, like Jamal said, so give me the Seahawks.
I mean, and before you go, just like Tennessee's defense couldn't do nothing with Kyler Murray. How the hell are they going to, and that's Russell Wilson light.
Exactly.
So what the hell are you going to do with the genuine article? Like they just went against discount Walmart bin Russell Wilson. And now they're going to get Target, Wegmans, Sam's Club Russell Wilson, the real one. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Reach.
And I do
You
want
said you said Seattle held Jonathan Taylor down, but Jonathan Taylor's not King Henry.
King Henry was held down to 58 yards.
He was.
And Ryan Tannehill turned the ball over like 3 or 4 times. Listen,
but how long can you contain King Henry before he actually busts one? Because we know how this works.
Who did the Titans play last week?
They played the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. Who's better, the Cardinals or the Saints or the Seahawks?
I like the Cardinals even better than the Seahawks defense.
Oh no, man! What team is
team wise? I'll take Seattle because Russell Wilson.
All right,
Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson now.
By the way, here is a lovely little keynote. If the Seahawks do win, Russell Wilson will be the youngest, the first quarterback to reach 100 wins within 10 seasons.
That's amazing.
That will be a very, very trademark number for him. And just remember, he also is a Super Bowl winner, so that kind of fits.
And he's married to Sierra, so shout out to him. Broncos fan says, if the Hawks got a bunch of pressure on the Colts, I expect the pressure to go higher with Tennessee. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Good assessment.
Okay, the team that everybody did take a dump on last week versus probably one of the best, youngest quarterback prospects in the NFL. We have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to L.A. against the L.A. Chargers. In my heart, they will always be the San Diego Chargers, and I'm just going to make that point.
Before we get started, I'm giving this to Bearman because Bearman, this week's news about the Cowboys has not been good.
No, it's not. And now with DeMarcus Lawrence with a broken foot out at least 6 to 8 weeks, the Cowboys have no defensive line.
Out too.
And when you have no defensive line, forget about it. I mean, you know what? Come right to it. The Chargers are winning it.
Oh, that hurts. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, and I feel it. That hurts, man. That hurts. I feel bad. I'm so sorry.
It does hurt me, but look, it's just how it is. I mean, everybody says, "Well, I just like burying my team." No, I don't like burying them. I do because it has to be done. Okay, because that's how bad they are. But without a defensive line, I mean, and now they're saying that it's up to Micah Parsons to kind of keep the pass rush alive. A rookie. I mean, come on. I mean, I believe in Parsons, and I have faith in whoever's taking over for Lawrence, which I believe is Terrell Basham, the former New York Jet, but. Overall, under the circumstances, especially if the Cowboys if the Cowboys run the ball and keep the defense off the field, that's a different story. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Hey, Broncos fan, you being emotional right now?
No, there's somebody else screwing.
No, I saw Broncos fan's last comment. He's being emotional right now.
Listen, the Cowboys, the saving grace is that Dak returning from that injury. The main thing you wanted to see out of the Cowboys is making sure that Dak Prescott didn't look skittish. He didn't play scared. He actually looked pretty damn good. The problem is you guys are paying for the most expensive left tackle in the game, and that left tackle's name is Ezekiel Elliott. He only mustered up like 33 yards. They gave up like 430 yards to the Buccaneers, and the Chargers offense, just as potent as Tampa Bay's. Justin Herbert is the truth in every sense of the word, by any metric you want to use. That boy is a bad man. He's like Aaron Rodgers light. Justin Herbert, like I said, I'm a big Tyrod Taylor fan. I would have chosen Justin Herbert over Tyrod Taylor. The proof was in the pudding. That's what the Bears need to take a lesson from the Chargers. Fuck that veteran. You got the young goods right there. And Justin Herbert is the truth. And the Chargers are a really good football team. And I'm picking the Chargers just for that. I think the injuries are too much. I mean, the damn assistant coach for the Cowboys can't even stay healthy. I think that just spells trouble. I think the Chargers are gonna eat the Cowboys up, to be honest with you.
I mean, Randy Gregory's now on the worldwide bastard protocol list. So yeah, there you go. I'm not exaggerating when I say it's depleted, for God's sake.
Dak threw the ball 58 times last week. He's not going to be able to sustain that, and especially not against a really good Chargers defense either.
So yep.
Let me get on Broncos fan here. You do realize the Chargers play Washington, who has a good defense, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Washington, you're not gonna go ballistic on Washington's defense. Let's get that out the way.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I'm talking to Broncos fan here because I'm reading his comment.
Oh, okay. The Chargers, unbiased, wasn't that impressive as an offense. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not going by one game. I'm going by since Justin Herbert's taken over. They've been nice. The Chargers have been nasty. They lost a bunch of like 2-3 point games last year. Games that should have went their way. It was if Anthony Lynn was such a doof, they probably would have made it a lot farther than they did.
Bearman, your Cowboys going to put up a fight, okay? They're going to put up a fight. But when it comes down to it, I am taking Justin Herbert, okay? Because that man is the truth.
It's not about putting up a fight. At the end of the day, it's about winning. The Cowboys do not win.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chargers.
I hate to say it, I might actually roll the dice on this one, and I don't even know why we have somebody commenting in a foreign language, but see you get.
Are you picking the Cowboys?
Well, actually, let me take care of the foreign language person first. Thank you. I just did that. And I apologize to any of the other comments that were put in our chat because that's just not cool. I'm actually going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys because you know what? I have a feeling that even though they are down a receiver on offense, I have a little bit more faith in Dak throwing the ball than I do Justin Herbert. I understand that Allen's a great receiver. He's been their leading receiver. But Mike Williams has not been visible as of late. I think the loss of Hunter Henry still is a big key to their offense for the Chargers. And
I couldn't tell it against Washington because the Jared Cook looked like he fit right in.
Yes, but again, I don't want to. I don't think you can throw Dallas under the bus just yet.
Just go ahead and say you think Zeke Elliott gonna be Zeke Elliott, and that's why you believe the Cowboys gonna win.
Again, I think Dak throwing the ball, he's got a lot more to prove. He just got a payday. Remember that. Dak's got a lot to prove.
He does.
And he did it. And they fell short by one crucial play in that Thursday night game.
But Jamal said it earlier. When the Cowboys went 13-3, they were balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke got fed.
But again,
if the Cowboys are going to win, that means they fed Zeke the ball.
I'm sorry. I'm going with the boys. I'm going to be dead serious. But point wise, yeah, I think this might actually be a little bit of a scoring game.
Yeah, and I'm picking
the gonna get blown out.
I picked the Chargers, and it was more so because it's not really an indictment on Dak. It's an indictment on Mike McCarthy, who I think is awful, and I think it's an indictment on the rest of the team because of injuries. And I just don't think, like, again, you pay your skill players before you pay your quarterback, and now you can't build a line. Their defense is going to be suspect. You have a potent Chargers offense. I know you're talking about Mike Williams, but that's not the guy you need to be worried about. That guy's name is Keenan Allen, and as long as Keenan Allen's there, it's all good. And Justin Herbert's going to get everybody the ball. So it's really more of an indictment on the rest of the team than it is for me about Dak Prescott.
I'm just saying, if Zeke gets the ball a lot, Cowboys might win this game.
Well, they got to give him the ball.
I don't see Zeke getting the ball that much.
As much as hate the critical Broncos fan has had, he does make up a point that the Chargers will find a way to lose, and it's obvious for the last few years. So. That's where we're gonna go.
You got two teams that does the same thing, so guess what? Something's finna give.
All right, so we got to shoot quick on the final two because we are hitting the time crunch. We have Kansas City traveling to Baltimore, Maryland against the Ravens, and this one here is a 7-point favorite for the Chiefs, I believe it is.
Actually, by 4.
4. Under over 55.
This scares me because Kansas City came out flat against the Browns, who I think have a better offense than the Ravens. But they also came back and turned it up. And when they opened up, it was only like 2.5 and 3 by our standards, and it's already gone up to 4. So I'm picking the Chiefs. Damn, man. Historically, the Chiefs just had their number. I don't know. I think that I just don't see. I don't see a scenario where the Ravens. I don't know what the game plan would be.
Let me help you out, Jamal. Patrick Mahomes is 3-0 against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I'm trying to picture a game plan unless the Chiefs just have an epic collapse. Which I guess it could happen, but I can't see a game plan where the Ravens have enough to beat the Chiefs. So I will pick Kansas City.
All right, I got you, Bear Man. Look, it's gonna be a repeat of last week. Cleveland jumped out. Handled their business. Oh, the Chiefs might lose the first game of the season, and once that train starts rolling, you can't stop it. Once it keeps going, it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas City.
I'm just going to go with a astronomical number. I don't believe this game is going to cover either way. And the historical number that we go to use is Patrick Mahomes is undefeated in September.
That too. I forgot about that.
Plain and simple.
shoot.
He is undefeated in his NFL career
Yeah,
in
10-0.
September.
He is 10-0.
Here's the only downfall that I have, and this actually may play into the Ravens' favor, is historically Kansas City can't stop the run for shit.
Mm-hmm.
They are like Swiss cheese.
Wish the Ravens stopped doing against Las Vegas.
Because it ended up becoming that they needed, supposedly, the man they can't figure out, Lamar Jackson, to carry and tote the load. I'm going to
You
rag
gotta
on,
let that go.
No, I am not going to let that go. I am going to rag on him the entire season. He's my new favorite target.
That's hilarious.
Because Brady went down to 10 and won a Super Bowl.
Again, this is the deal with the Baltimore secondary. Obviously, if the Raiders started to pick them apart and then they tried to key in on two and left a guy again potentially wide open, you always got to bet on the cheetah. You got to bet on Travis Kelce. Kansas City doesn't really have a third option at this point. I don't think Hardman's really taken up that load as of yet. So I am going Kansas City, but the pick is going to be the problem because they are going to both put up points at some stature. As much as I would probably love to say Baltimore covers, yeah, I'm going to go KC with the -4.
Bearman.
Kansas City, with all the disadvantages going on right now with the Ravens, the injuries and everything, and it's a no-brainer. Kansas City.
All right.
And of course, we can't ignore the fact Patrick Mahomes is undefeated in the month of September. It actually, some people say that means nothing. It doesn't mean anything, but no, it does mean something.
I already know what the last game is, so you go ahead and put it up on the screen, Ricky. I'm just gonna ask Jamal this question: How bad does Aaron Rodgers torture the Lions on Monday Night Football?
Real bad.
Okay. That's all I need to know. It's how bad Aaron Rodgers is going to torture the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football. So the whole world can see Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know what the number is exactly, but Aaron Rodgers bounce back games, that ratio is really high. He dominates. When he has a bad game or the Packers take a bad loss, he usually comes out and takes it out on the next team. The moment people start doubting Aaron Rodgers, he comes out and he's going to put up like 50 points on the Lions. And I feel really bad because I'm a big fan of Dan Campbell and everything Detroit. I feel really bad for the Lions for having to actually play this game because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to put up 50 points.
All right, well, the under-over is 48, and the line is the Packers favored by 12.
I'm going over, and it's only because the Packers are going to go nuts. And I think the Lions are going to put up points. I think it's going to be like a 30-20 game, somewhere in that range.
Bearman, you're the last one up here for the line.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is mad, and there's a lot of talk if Aaron Rodgers is so mad that he doesn't care. I mean, I can't go into that because I don't know. But I can tell you is the Packers are not going to let themselves lose to the freaking Detroit Lions. So just give me the Packers. 34-23.
I might watch Peyton Manning and Eli Manning break this game down.
That was fantastic. That I watched that Monday night thing. The Detroit gave up 30+ points for the 11th time in the last 17 games. They're going to give up 30-something points to Aaron Rodgers by himself. Aaron Rodgers, this was his second multi-interception game in 4 years. So, I mean, he's going to come out. He's going to go crazy.
This is my feeling on it. Lions are going to score points. Green Bay Packers defense has not proven to me anything this year so far. Another one of those games, DTA. I'm taking Green Bay to win the game, but I'm taking the Lions with the points. Because this one here has a little bit more of another revenge story going to it. Jamal Williams was a freaking Packer last year. He led their team in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
And Green Bay said, no, sorry, hit the bricks.
Is that what you going with? You going revenge game?
Revenge game.
Jamal
I hope you do that for week 4. I hope you do that for week 4. When week 4 get here, I want you to say the revenge game for week 4, okay?
Week 4 is 2 weeks away and a lot of time to prepare.
I'm just putting you on notice since you want to talk about revenge game when it comes to Detroit Lions.
And the season typically, historically, begins around week 4. So we'll see. That's when everybody kind of gets out of the lull and gets in the zone. So it'll be interesting.
All righty. So, final comments, social media. Jamal, we'll start with you.
Not much, man. You catch me on Stuff About Sports Tuesdays or Wednesdays, depending on my firefighter schedule. Hit us up at Stuff About Sports on Facebook and on Instagram. And then you can find us, Pain Train, Pipe Bomb, Ricky Show on the Give Us a Shot Network. Just search Give Us a Shot Network on Facebook and www.giveusashot.network.
Alex?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Twitter at Bearman of Texas, just TX. No need to spell it out. You can find the links to my podcast. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to be on the show, just DM me and we can work it out, gentlemen.
Playmaker.
You already know. Darnell Playmaker Sallins on Facebook. D20 Playmaker on Twitter and Instagram. Ramley Talk. Next month, it'll be Who's Talk. Dang. I ain't even ready for basketball season yet, but I gotta get ready for it. But subscribe, like, share, Archrivals this. Flashback Fridays with Ricky on Friday. So I'm all over the place. Plus the NFL carousel with Alex Fleming and Eric Wilson too. So.
All righty. So all the shows will be back again starting Tuesday next week. PainTrainPipeBomb.com. Great merch sales going on. Once again, Jamal, thanks for coming on. You're a big part of this team. You're the one of the key cogs for Archrivals, starting to trend everywhere. Thanks to everybody that watched. That critical Broncos fan, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us, commenting, and giving some picks on the games. But till Tuesday, Archrivals will be back at, I believe, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy the games tomorrow, guys. Hey, did you like that show? Like, share, follow, subscribe. Share out our shows to all of your social media. Need merchandise? Check out PainTrainPipeBomb.threadless.com for quality merchandise at great prices. Tune in next time for another edition of Archrivals Football, and we'll catch you on the flip side.